In today's video, we go into the world of county lines, the Get Money gang, and the murder of Mashak dos Santos Cornelio, who was stabbed to death on New Year's Eve in 2017 for a mobile phone worth £10. But it was on that phone where the numbers were worth hundreds of thousands of pounds. We go back to 2017 to drug deal Gaille Bola. Bola, known as G, was 21 years old and already established 4 county lines in Hertfordshire County. County lines is where dealers in major cities establish networks for the supply and sale of drugs to users in towns and rural areas. Gaille Bola was raking in thousands a day, and he was part of the GMG, the Get Money gang. Bola was far from happy with making $500,000 a year. He wanted more. There was a patch he really wanted. Gaille Bola recruited Mashak dos Santos Cornelio, known as Shaq to his friends, when he was a kid to run county lines operations. Mashak and Bola were childhood friends and grew up together. Mashak was recruited into the GMG at 15 years old to work under the command of Bola. Now at 18 years old, Mashak was switched on, bright and doing extremely well. He was working for the gang as a runner. He used the money to study to become a plumber and electrician because Mashak had realised there was no future in dealing. In October 2017, Bola gave Mashak his own county lines operation and drugs line to run. The drugs line was a burner mobile with a list of customers' names on it. With Mashak realising the market and having a head for business, he had already grown the operation substantially. The dream of becoming an electrician and plumber had fallen to the wayside. He was making just too much money to walk away from this county line. With the serious money, he had already got his foot into the door of a few clubs, and the upcoming new year was going to be massive for sales. On the streets, Gaille Bola was in trouble. He had gotten arrested for a knife offence, carrying a bladed weapon. In the meantime, there were several arrests of high-ranking Get Money gang members. While inside, Bola learned how Mashak had grown the county lines operation and was making more than £1,000 a day profit. Bola wanted the drugs line phone and the county line spot back. In mid-December 2017, Gaille Bola was released from prison, and the first thing on his list was to find Mashak. Mashak was well aware of what Bola wanted. He was very clever at keeping his ear to the ground. Though he was extremely funny, he was quiet and would listen first in a conversation. He knew Bola. He knew he wanted his territory back. He knew he wanted the contacts. And he knew how violent, angry and capable his childhood friend could be. When Bola met up with Mashak, Mashak made sure it was in a public place. Bola stated no ifs and no buts. He wanted back his county lines operation that he had given Shaq, including the customer contacts and the new ones. Shaq remained cool and calm and said he isn't giving it up. No way. Bola said to Shaq, "Realise you're making a big mistake." And Bola walked away. Bola was having to keep his head down and out of trouble. Out of the 3,500 gang members on London's police gang matrix, Gaille Bola was in the top 10. He was well aware that anything he does, police are coming for him. It was approaching Christmas, and the Get Money gang were warning their associates to be on guard. One of their gang was missing. Skeng, a dealer, was stationed at one of the cuckooed residencies and had vanished. He never went back to his mum's, and he hasn't been arrested. The gang, Dem Africans, were believed to have killed him and taken the body. Though the owners of the cuckoo residence where Skeng was stationed and dealing were missing, it was thought it was doubtful they knew anything about it. It happened with another residence they had, where their tenant just abandoned the property when the dealing from their house had become too much for them. With the alert of Dem Africans, All the gang members were rearming themselves. Meanwhile, Mashak was preparing for a great Christmas. He had more money than he knew what to do with. He knew Bola was not going to let the county lines patch go. So he knew Bola's next step was cutting off his supply, which happened immediately after they met up. But Mashak had thought several stages ahead. He had already sourced another supplier, who he'd been using for several weeks. The product from the new supplier was more pure, though more expensive. He could work around it by cutting it and get his margin back. On the morning of the 31st of December 2017, Bola went to a flat on Larmans Road, North Enfield. At the flat was Mashak and his associate. They were cutting and bagging a large quantity of product. With Bola was two other men. Bola rang the flat intercom and Mashak buzzed him up. In the room, Bola said to Mashak he wants the phone with the drugs line numbers. Mashak listened to Bola, then Mashak calmly refused. Bola ran up and grabbed Mashak and repeatedly punched him in the head, shouting, "Give me the phone," before stabbing him in the chest. Bola took the phone and stole the cash, and stole 2 massive bags of coke and smack, thought to be worth thousands, from the flat. Mashak's associate was unarmed in the scuffle. Mashak's associate phoned for an ambulance, and at 11:30 AM, emergency services arrived. They found the victim, Mashak, conscious on the living room floor, but refused to answer any questions. He was airlifted to the Royal London Hospital. Doctors turned off Mashak's life support, and he was pronounced dead at 8:28 PM. Officers at the crime scene found equipment used with the cutting and bagging of Class A product. They were able to piece together what had happened after finding 50 wraps at the address that Bola had missed when he ransacked the flat. Gaille Bola had got what he wanted, and in doing so he killed his childhood friend for a phone. But the cheap Nokia phone, the drugs line, would be the undoing of Bola. Police were able to trace Bola's movements through the location of the phone. He never left his side. Bola didn't realise that police had the number to the drugs line. After the police started monitoring the location of the phone, police were turning over anywhere Bola started pinging on the satellite GPS. Bola was getting other associates busted wherever he showed up, with nowhere else to go or hide. At 8 PM at Wood Green Police Station, Bola handed himself into police, 8 days after the attack. At the police station, he told police, "I did not stab Shaq. I was not involved in the stabbing of Shaq. He was a good family friend." Gaille Bola was charged on Tuesday the 9th January 2018 and appeared in custody at Highbury Magistrates Court on Wednesday the 10th of January. He was found not guilty of murder after a trial at the Old Bailey on July 2018, but the jury could not reach a verdict on manslaughter. After a retrial, he was found guilty. He was sentenced at Blackfriars Crown Court. Gaille Bola will have to serve a minimum of 14 years in jail. A worthless Nokia phone that had thousands of pounds worth of numbers on would be a curse to anyone who had it. Mashak had lost his life for it, and would be the 76th London stabbing victim to die in 2017. Then followed by 4 more deaths later that evening, bringing a total of 80 knife deaths for that year. Gaille Bola had killed Mashak for the phone, didn't realise that his every move was being tracked when he had it. Mashak will go down in history, being the first man murdered over the taking of a county line. Later that year, the Get Money gang will be all over the news again. Their missing dealer, Skeng, who vanished in December 2017. His body was found hidden in a loft for 8 months. He'd been brutally murdered, but not by a rival gang, but by an addict who had his flat taken over by the gang. If you look out the window where you live, chances are it already has a county line operation. How long before another gang may want to take it? And what will that bring with it?